Well, heyo everyone and welcome. I'm your friend Art of Mana, and let's dive into a real quick tutorial about Lightstream's Prism service. Now, this video actually is really intended for the Selecting Start community, a group of streamers with whom I'm collaborating, and we have a whole channel dedicated to family-friendly Nintendo content. At the moment, we're just getting off the ground, and we've basically started this whole concept of doing some of our streams using the Prism service. But I figured I'd share this with the world because you might be interested in using this. There are many wonderful streamers out there who probably don't know about this service, and it's really great for collaboration out there on Twitch. So let me just tell you a little bit about what Lightstream's Prism service is. Prism is essentially a way to take multiple feeds that are streamed from our individual OBS or other broadcasting software and condense it into one video feed that can be put out to multiple channels. And I think that in and of itself is really cool. So how do you get started? Well, first of all, you're going to go to Lightstream's website. It is golightstream.com, I believe. And once here, you'll see under products, there is both Lightstream Studio, which is their broadcasting solution, and Prism. Give your audience a unique perspective with any streaming software. You can get to Prism that way, or down here on the link right here, I believe you can also click Start Streaming and choose it from here. So let's choose Prism. The first thing you're going to notice is that you have a couple of options. Now, Prism allows you to condense up to 4 channel feeds or 4 video feeds. Let's go ahead and just start with 2, but you would just choose the appropriate number here. Oh, and by the way, let me actually go back one more moment and mention, if anyone is curious about more, the resources on Lightstream is fantastic. You can go to the knowledge base and find a lot of information, and that's how I educated myself on all of this. All right, let's use this link here. Choose 2. Okay, this is your interface right here when you get started on Prism. It's really nice, very clean. I'm going to draw your attention to one thing that is more of an administrative solution or administrative option for anyone who is preparing the stream for a group of streamers. So you don't have to pay too much attention, but we'll get into the nitty-gritty in a moment. Overlay. What you have as your basic default overlay is branded by Prism. It looks really nice. It's very clean. You don't have any control over your solo overlay, which I will explain in a little bit. It's essentially when you toggle the solo option and only one feed is being presented. But you do have full control over your overlay that is for the full combined feed. As you can see right here, you can change it, and once you click change, you'll bring up your file browser and be able to choose whatever image you have. You can download Prism overlay templates here. It's actually essentially a zip file that includes a PSD or Photoshop file, so you will need Photoshop in order to edit it. You can use other solutions, but it will be a little bit more difficult. I do suggest Photoshop. If you don't have that, you can sort of get an idea from some of the images they include in that zip file that show you the placement, and you can then make something out of that. But it's very simple with the Photoshop files. Once you make your content, you can then upload it here and be good to go. But please note, you can't use any animations. You can't create an alert, a dynamic alert that would go over this. You literally have the option to create one static image overlay that goes over everything. Note that you can have elements that would go over the stream itself. So say you had an image that just kind of went over the screen area here. It might look nice. Maybe a name that kind of covers a little of a corner. Those are all things that you can do. Okay, so I think that's enough about that. Pretty self-explanatory. Once you're here, you're going to notice that player 1 and player 2 both have an option for a stream key and an ingest, but if you'll notice, the ingest is the same on both. So let's go over to OBS and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. But before we do that, I'm going to copy the ingest so that we have it. Now, this is my OBS for the recording of this video, but I will point out that you can click on profile. I can't do it right now since I am recording. And you can create new profiles. I suggest for Prism that you create a specific Prism account or profile, I should say. Those of you in Selecting Start, you probably already have a Selecting Start profile. I encourage you to make yet another one that is specifically for Prism if you intend to use it. What you're going to want to do for the settings of that is you're going to want to have your video, you're going to want your base canvas resolution and your output scaled resolution to both be 720p. That will just be the easiest, and that is the max that Prism allows in upload, and it's going to get you the best quality on the Prism service. You're also going to want to choose the 30 frames per second option. I know some of you are going to be disappointed it can't be 60, but again, we are condensing multiple feeds, up to 4 feeds together, and then outputting it all in almost a lag-free solution. I do suggest the canvas and the output to be 720 just so you don't have to do any downscaling after the fact, right? Then next what you're going to do is you're going to go to your output, and the max that you can have as your video bit rate for streaming on the Prism service is 3500. So my suggestion is that you stick with 3500 if you can, and if you have a lower bit rate, go with that. I think this is a pretty good middle of the road anyways. 3500 is about what most people stream at, I find. So you're pretty good there. And again, just don't go over it. Bitrate is kind of a complicated topic. We won't get too much into it at the moment, but just know that that's how that works. Next, what you're going to do is go to Stream, and right here where it says Stream Type, and you see Streaming Services, click that and choose Custom Streaming Server. What we're going to do is we're going to paste that ingest URL right in there, okay? Then you're going to go over here, and you're just going to copy your stream key. You'd obviously put that right where we saw the ingest, right down below that, you'll put your stream key. Super easy, super convenient. So the other streamers who are part of the collaboration are going to need the ingest. If they've already used Prism and they have their own Prism profile, then all they need to change is their stream key. You'll give the stream key based on the layout. Let's take a quick look at another layout. Let's say 4. You'll notice player 1 is in the top left corner, player 2 is in the top right, player 3 in the bottom left, player 4 in the bottom right. So you have full control over where the placement of the different feeds will be based on which stream key you give. So if you want someone to be in the top right, give them this key right here. Okay. Once you are ready to go, you've got everyone in here, then actually the cool thing is in OBS, with this stream key and this ingest, you can say go live. You're not going to put anything out to the world. You're not going to put anything to your channel. What you're going to do is stream a feed that will actually show up in real time on this player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4 slot, depending on what key you are streaming to. So you'll see all of the feeds start to populate, and you'll say, great, we're ready to go. The last thing that you need to do in setup is add destinations. Once you click add destinations, you will see a Twitch and a Mixer and a YouTube option. Obviously, we'll be using Twitch on our Selecting Start channel. Click Twitch, and you'll notice that you get to log into a Twitch account. So for those of you on Selecting Start, one of the board members will go ahead and add the official streaming Selecting Start account in here as the destination, and that will mean that the full complete video will be directed only to that channel. For those of you who are maybe considering using Prism Lightstream for your collaborations and are tuning into this little review or this little overview, then what you'll want to do is consider who do you want to have this live feed, and you might say everyone who's involved. That's how I've often done it. So say you have 4 people here, all 4 are streaming to this ingest, all 4 can just click add destinations and add their own accounts right there. Now, once you've added an account, this go live button will suddenly become green. At this point, Do not click the go live green button until you are absolutely 100% sure you are ready to go live. And anyone who is collaborating, all 4 of the people here who are on this page will be able to click go live. Only though, if you've invited players with this button up here or given them the URL to this page. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is going to be a dashboard for as many people as you invite. You can give the stream key and have people upload or start streaming without giving them access to this panel. But you might consider it a little bit easier and maybe a little bit nicer to share the link. I find that's a really convenient way to make sure that everyone knows that their individual content is looking good before everyone agrees to click go live. All right, a couple more things before we go. I know this is getting long, but it's a very exciting and very powerful system. However, we are going to run into one little snag, and that is how to coordinate everyone's audio. Thankfully, Prism does include a very handy volume slider. The default is, you can think of it like 100%, but with the option to go higher if you need to add a little bit of volume to someone, or of course lower. So there you go. It's a nice little way to do it. You know, if you just leave it at the default, you're going to sound good. But sometimes people have pretty soft mics and you need to give a little boost. However, you might be thinking to yourself, but wait, Mana, what happens if you get game audio from multiple people? Here's my suggestion. There's 2 ways to handle audio, and my preference is the latter, but it is more involved. So let me give you the easy solution first. Let's say I'm hosting and I'm player 1. I'll go ahead and use my system, which happens to be Voicemeeter Banana, but however you have your audio set up in OBS is fine. I'll have my mic, my game audio, and I'll have my Discord call with all of my friends and fellow streamers in my audio mix. I'll go ahead and make sure that I'm at the neutral setting, and I'll just tap everyone's icon to mute. Done. Now you know that everything sounds good. You can hear it in your ears, hopefully, if you're live monitoring, and you know that what is going out to the world is good. The alternative is going to avoid any of the sometimes messy Discord compression. And this is no fault of Discord, I love it, but obviously you are going to get little bits of issues from time to time, especially if you're playing an online game together and you're already using a lot of internet bandwidth. So an alternative, as I use Voicemeeter Banana, is to actually have the other streamers choose in their OBS settings to output just their mics, okay? And then on your end, you'll want to have your Discord only audible in your ears. So you're hearing everyone, but it's not being output to the stream. So you're putting your mic and game audio out to the world. Everyone else is putting just their mic. And then of course you can mess around with their volume sliders, but you can only really test this once you're live. So what I say is just leave a little bit of room at the start of your stream to explain to people, we're just testing some audio levels. Please help us out. Let us know if everyone sounds clear and about the same volume. You might even do as I do, have your iPad or similar device handy, mute yourself, pull that volume up and see, hey, does everyone sound good? Once you're happy with it, you can then start your stream. You have a lot of flexibility and you get a very nice end product. Because the final the final video that is being put out is going to be in a 720p maximum resolution, all of the 4 windows, or 2 or 3, will be pretty small. You're not going to have a lot of room to do a lot of things. I'll just give you a couple of final tips and tricks before we round out the video. First of all, my suggestion is something very simple like your game in the background and a simple webcam with a green screen like I am right now. Looks terrific. If you don't have this, you might consider just a small little square in the corner with your webcam. If you don't use a webcam, you're fine, no problems. Let's say you really want alerts. You might consider having one person in charge of the alerts, and you might even just section a little part of that stream off for the alerts. Make sure you make those nice and big on OBS on your canvas so that when it goes out, it's going to look legible on especially mobile devices. Keep that in mind. You might also consider, as I've done in the past, actually doing something creative where you have the game, for example, when we did our Super Mario World race, it was a 4x3, have the game over to the side because that's not going to take up the whole 16:9 screen, and then have elements of your overlay and maybe a webcam, maybe a little alert section, maybe a little info section be a part of that 16:9 space set aside for your particular stream. So you can overlay a lot of elements in the overlay section. You can also include a lot of elements in your own OBS. For selecting start, however, please, at this point, we're not going to use alerts when you are streaming to Prism, but we are looking at a solution in the near future. All of the overlays that you will want for using it for selecting start is available in our Google Drive, and hopefully this answers, again, all of your questions. Anyone who's interested in using this, please let me know if you found this helpful. If you found some other tips and tricks that you'd like to share that I don't know about, please let me know, because I do like this program, this software, and this service, and I'd like to know it a little bit more. Anyways, as always, do good and be well. I'll catch you next time, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.